55th Jinky, Part 2. The Music of Change. Many scientists have found similarities between the structure of DNA and music. Parts of DNA and protein sequences are often repeated with very minor changes. This imperfect repetition has often been linked to the compositional structure of music, particularly classical music and music of the East. The idea that the human body itself is musical is not so far-fetched. We are a delicate framework of rhythms and melodies. Our brainwaves, blood circulation, heartbeat, endocrine cycles, and the very fluid of our cells all breathe according to a very consistent rhythm. At an even deeper subatomic level, our molecules are their atomic structures also vibrate at very high frequencies and are designed around universal geometries. Seen in this way, the human being is nothing more than a symphony of interwoven rhythms, tempos, and sounds. The 55th gift is deeply connected to sound and the way in which our bodies and emotions respond to sound. Oh yes, definitely yes. I experienced this. The ageless connection between the human emotional spectrum and music is rooted here in this jinky. Perhaps one of the most poignant analogies between the structure of DNA and music concerns the triplet. DNA is structured in triplets made up of combinations of base pairs. The triplet is the key structural foundation of the entire genetic helix. In music, the triplet represents something quite extraordinary. It represents the pure longing of life itself. The musical triplet is always trying to resolve to another note, and in this sense it has the effect of leaving the human heart hanging in the air. This longing is exactly what is expressed through the 55th gift. It is the longing to create more. Unlike duality, Trinity is not a straight line. It doesn't rest, but repeats, always free and always fresh. Wow. It's the same like those two circles that have this part together, the third one. Always create new, always is fresh. Yes, at the great change comes to human beings, the ancient fear within us will subside and we will hear a new kind of music. We will vibrate at a higher frequency that will chemically lift us free of the old genetic fears. We will become one with the music of life and experience the entire spectrum of emotions from the light to the dark, without fear and without shame. This is a new kind of music for humans. There are no paths to follow and no need for systems or structures to keep us safe. Those old ways are leaving the world. The new human being will no longer try to escape the pure longing of life within him or her. We will no longer feel true freedom because we will operate from an awareness that is beyond the mind and its concerns about the future. Ultimate freedom has nothing to do with your life circumstances. It is the freedom of allowing the self to dissolve into waves of the ocean. It is the freedom that is born throughout one's absolute trust in life. Freedom that is born through the absolute trust in life. Poetic genetics. The highest expression of human language is poetry. True poetry captures the hidden essence of what cannot be said in words. The secret is in the rhythm, the cadence, and the tonal frequency. The secret is in the rhythm, the cadence, and the tonal frequency. To be a poet, imagination has to free itself from the structure of language. Likewise, the true nature of humanity cannot be caught or homogenized into a logic framework. Our true nature is wildness, and it is this wildness that scares people. Oh yes, this wildness that scares people. The moment you think you have pinned life down, it mutates. We humans are in a deep process of transcending the mental game of trying to understand life. The ancient Indian sages called the world we inhabit Maya, an illusion. Our problem has always been that we try to understand this Maya through an instrument, the mind, bound by laws that prevent true understanding. We are trying to understand this Maya throughout an instrument, the mind, bounding by laws that prevent true understanding. You cannot use an instrument within the Maya to understand the Maya. You cannot use an instrument within the Maya to understand the Maya. This new awareness in humans will bring an end to so many things. One such ending we will witness will be the end of the question of how. As a species, we will no longer be obsessed with intellectual understanding. Finally. This will also mark the end of the spiritual seeker. We will no longer fix our awareness on our structures and systems. We will no longer hunger at any level. Like the poet or the musician, we will enter into the mystery itself. Humanity is actually at the very early stage of transcending our genetics. As our consciousness begins to rise up on the pure awareness of our emotional system, we will finally see throughout the veil that has long held us captive. Once we are free from our mind in this way, we can truly create great poetry of our lives. We are entering into an era of great beauty. It will be a transcendent era in which creativity will rule and life itself will be experienced as art. The possible and likely effects of future. The possible and likely effects of future genetic mutation. As we transit into this coming phase, particularly in the years following 2027, there are many things about the world that will change. Because of the nature of mutation, there will be sudden quantum leaps that are followed by long periods of integration. There will be moments of great mutations, very strong in energetical imprints coming down to the earth, and we will anchor this new level of consciousness through our bodies to the earth, and it will take some time to integrate it. It will take time. Or change on a social level takes time, and some of these phases may last hundreds of years. Yes. Physical changes. The secret of the 55th gift at a psychological level lies in a single element: salt. Salt has long been known for its purifying properties and its ability to leach toxins from the body. Every single cell within your body contains salt, and its balance within the body is a major key to health. Everything connected to this 55th gift is rooted in its literal and metaphorical relation to water. As we learn through the 32nd Jinki, water holds memory. When your emotions become really intense, you release memory through the salt in your tears and or sweat. What is beginning to happen to humanity now, and what will become more and more intense, is a process whereby ancient memories are being chemically released from our bodies. Heightened emotional awareness will gradually draw the toxins, genetic memories out of the human form. Isn't it genius? Isn't it genius? At a physical level, this will occur through your sweat, your tears, and your urine. Urine? Pee. In the same way, the sweat evaporates. In the same way that seawater evaporates to leave behind its salt, so human beings are going through a process of evaporation as distillation. At a chemical level, we are beginning to change. A new network of neurocircuitry in the solar plexus is superseding the reptilian fear-based neurocircuitry of the old brain. Wow! New network of neurocircuitry in the solar plexus is superseding the reptilian fear-based neurocircuitry of the old brain. We are leaving behind this reptilian fear-based consciousness. It's just genius. I'm so moved reading it and feeling it. I knew it in my body. I knew it that, come on, we are such a beings. We cannot even imagine who we are, because it's so untouchable. It's just like, I know it in my body. We are incredible beings, and our future is incredible. And reading finally somebody who speaks about it, and it's not him, it's not the persona speaking, it's really our genes speaking, it's the transmission from the planet speaking. The future is known because everything is happening in the same time, all at the same time, so everything is known already. And we hold the whole inside. We hold this fractal of universe, multiverse inside. We can enter actually this consciousness. Wow, we are really shedding the old, and this transmutation really is happening. As the 59th CD testifies, human beings will gradually become more transparent as the body no longer produces the old chemical created by fear. With the closing down of certain chemical processes associated with the hindbrain, the body's needs will radically change. Without the toxins created by fear, the body will need far less salt, and it will become much less dense. I also had this realization one time when I was in a higher consciousness state, and it was clear for me, because I was trying different diets, I was fasting, not eating, not drinking. I really wanted to stop eat and drink. And then I also realized that it will come naturally. This state will come naturally. That we will be in such a high consciousness that we will not need to eat and maybe drink even. But it will come. It will come. It will be supernatural. The body will be different. It will all come. Which gave me also like, I don't have to push so crazy myself. I can allow myself to be a human being now. Eating, drinking, feeling really deeply. It's still time for that. Being really in the body and feeling really deeply. We will go through this phase. We will transmute. Now it's time to feel and be in relation and be transparent, and this is time for now. Diet. As the human body's needs for salt decreases, our digestive system will begin to mutate. This is after all a solar plexus mutation. As our digestive system mutates to accommodate higher frequency passing through our DNA, it is likely that our diet will also change. The body will not only stop craving salty foods, but will actually reject them outright. It is also probable that gradually humans will stop eating meat, and we will certainly not be able to tolerate the high salt intake provided by modern processed food. As our children inherit the mutation through their DNA, they may well be born with a psychological allergy to salty food or meat. You know, I never read it before. I just know it from my body, and it's the same like, you know how many children has this allergy to milk and milk products, right? And allergy to flour, white flour, and so on. It's just natural. Human beings they're like naturally stopping to eat things that are not serving. It's normal that we stop eat meat, that we stop eat eggs, that we stop eat cheese. It's normal. It's just not aligned anymore. We will stop it. During the current transition, all these changes are the result of the mutation and will come in their own time. You cannot believe how happy I am, because I know it for years, but I really didn't find it anywhere in any book. It was just my body knowing. I was downloading this from the universe that it will be like this, and I got many more messages how it will look like, who we are, and so on and so on. But usually I'm talking such a things that, it's strange for people, it's not known, so I rarely find people who I can talk about those things and that I can be understood. And this book is bringing me such a release and such a warm feeling of being home, and that I can really trust what I'm receiving. I can trust my body, my heart. I can trust the feelings. I can trust the informations I'm getting. It's such a nice feeling. During the current transition period, human beings actually require even more salt than usual in order for the toxicity of the past to be collectively cured. Oh wow, that's interesting, no? This is the hidden reason behind the current worldwide revolution in processed food. Nature knows exactly what is she doing, and we should take heart from this. Digestion is rooted in the mineral realm, in the way in which the body uses and dissolves trace elements from food and water. Digestion is rooted in the mineral realm, in the way in which the body uses and dissolves trace elements from the food and water. In the future, in a totally new way, we will become highly efficient at drawing and combining the elements from food. The mechanical means for this will be throughout our moods. Wow, the mechanical means for this will be throughout our moods. In other words, our bodies will tell us exactly what we need to eat and when throughout the medium of our mood. Wow! One of the most likely effects of the mutation will be that we will simply not feel hungry as often as we do now. It's already happening, right? Like many of us, we don't feel this hunger anymore like this. We can eat a little bit and it's like a little bit is enough. And if not, it's also okay. With the result that we eat far less. Added to this, our bodies will begin to find other means of absorbing high frequency food throughout air and sunlight. Eventually, far down the road, when we final pieces of the cosmic chess game are in place, the sixth city will flower within the collective, making our skin totally translucent, thereby allowing us to live purely on light. Guys, it will happen in the right moment. We don't have to push ourselves. I'm talking from a place that I did it. I stopped eating. I stopped drinking. I was feeling terrible. Terrible. There are people also who stop eating and fly away too much. Like fly away from the earth. They are out of the body, which is also dangerous. And then, you know, making suicides, which again, maybe this is the perfect thing to do actually. I live it. I just want to say that it will happen naturally by itself. This mutation will just happen. Emotions and decisions, the stealing of the wave. Some of the most radical changes to humanity will concern the emotional system itself. Presently, human beings are victims of the whims of their emotions. Their decisions are out of harmony with their true nature, creating collective energy field of chaos. As the mutation takes hold, what we now call emotion will have a completely different role. It will no longer be experienced as emotional at all. It will be a means of communication. The people in whom this mutation manifests will not be caught in the emotional drama of life. They will still feel every single nuance of the emotional environment deep within their bodies, but their awareness will ride on top of these waves instead of being lost within them. So we will feel very deeply. I feel deeply, I express it, but I'm not overtaken by the wave. I'm riding the wave, but delivering the knowledge of this emotion, delivering this deep wisdom of emotions, but not being taken over anymore, which I was before, really taken over. The result is that they will feel extremely calm, and one of the ways in which they will be recognized is throughout the peacefulness in their eyes. Every person carrying the mutation will effectively steal the wave in his or her environment. So every person carrying this mutation will effectively steal the wave of his or her environment. As more and more people are born into this awareness, their collective presence will slowly tune the rest of humanity to a different dimension. A dimension of endless clarity and stillness. This will also deeply affect the way in which human beings make decisions. Decisions will no longer be subjective to the shifting patterns of emotional chemistry. Decisions will emerge instantly and with great clarity as the collective chemistry across the planet becomes calmer. Such a decision will no longer belong to the individual, but will emerge directly from the harmonious nexus of the collective itself. The process of the stealing of the wave will ultimately lead to an era of world peace. As a metaphor, this process is akin to an orchestra warming up before a concert. All one hears is a cacophony of different tones sounded on different instruments at random. This is the current state of humanity. It is, no? It's a cacophony. Different instruments at random. When the mutation arrives, the conductor taps his stick on his podium until every instrument is silent. Only when silence has been attained can we hear the hidden harmony that is the true nature of humanity. Only when silence has been attained can we hear the hidden harmony that is the true nature of humanity. The environment. Many people today are very concerned about the environment of our planet, me also, and the great damage that is occurring due to the huge pressures of globalization. Before we look at the good news that lies ahead of us, it is important to understand why humanity currently appears to be causing such damage to itself. To understand such a thing, one has to look at the bigger picture. The planet is our greater body. And just as the physical body of human beings is going through a genetic mutation, so is all life. All of life is a delicate network of interwoven threads. It is not possible for one species to undergo a major mutation without affecting all other species. Our current generation is the sacrificial generation. Our current generation is a sacrificial generation. Our collective body is purging humanity of its ancient toxins, isn't it? It is, no? We all know that. We feel that. We go through that. From the dietary level, we have seen that the West in particular has such a high salt intake that a huge swath of the population is obese, I think, O-B-E-S-E. Fat is the fuel of mutation, and this mutation is leaching out the collective shadows of humanity. Fat is the fuel of mutation, and this mutation is leaching out the collective shadow of humanity. Stress is another symptom of increased activity through the solar plexus. Mutation puts the physical vehicle under great stress. Wow, it's incredible. All is perfect, really, no? At every level of society, the ancient human wounds is being expressed. Through business, government, and the environment itself. This is the true meaning of the myth of the flood. The flood is coming, and it will separate the gift consciousness from the victim consciousness. The flood is coming, and it will separate the gift consciousness from the Siddhic consciousness. No, sorry. The gift consciousness from the shadow consciousness. It will separate. This is probably this myth of these two earths that we are hearing about. Global warming and pollution are classic expression of the human wound seen on a broader level. This kind of phenomenon represents the last raging of the victim consciousness, with the earth herself playing the role of victim. This kind of phenomena represent the last raging of a victim consciousness, with the earth herself playing the role of a victim. There is enormous collective fear surrounding the issue of what we are doing to our environment, but the irony is that if humanity were not in the grip of this world mutation, we would inevitably destroy ourselves. The rising of the 55th gift as a physical genetic mutation is literally creating a new species. As our spirit settles and our awareness allows us to experience unity with each other, we will also experiencing unity with all creatures. The new awareness will particularly connect us to animals in a direct way, since the awareness already functions collectively. Although they carry different genetic equipment, their true nature is that of the 55th gift, freedom. Not only will we stop eating animals, but for the first time we will experience ourselves as one of them, one with them. Finally, in everything we do, freedom will play the central role. A major key to the future will be the huge decrease in human population that occurs due to the shift in frequency of the emotional sexual apparatus. The busy world we see today will fall silent. Huge tracts of the earth will be reclaimed by wilderness. The sense of space and freedom that is the essence of our planet will return. As we have seen, the nature of freedom is wilderness. We will not have to do anything to heal the planet. There simply will not be enough of us to do harm. Wow. So nature will find her own way with balance. Nature will find her own wild balance. Yes, the animal will be free to roam. The plants and forests will be free to spread and blossom. And man will be free to enjoy simply being alive. Again, the very force that has driven man to where he is now, the force of fear, will be gone. As we said earlier, it is always difficult to foresee the details of what life will look like in our future. What we can see is the spirit of the age. It is more than likely that man will continue to harness the incredible technology he has thus far created, and with the rising of our inherent gifts, we are bound to improve on it exponentially. The future will not be a retrogressive period of going back to our primal roots. That's important. It will be more a co-creative stewardship of nature. In essence, human beings have always been gardeners. And that is really our role on this planet. That I feel so deeply, to complete the beauty of nature by adding our own spirit to it. The real work of transmutation at the planetary level will be done by the oceans. The real work of transmutation on a planetary level will be done by the oceans. All the toxins created by men, will find their way into the water cycle and over time be purified by the salt within the world's ocean. Wow. Once again, one can see the elemental power that lies behind these 55th gifts, as well as the mystical meaning behind the coming age of Aquarius, the age of water bearer.